are the very first team to advance to the division final. Also lines it up for 3. It's good.
Eba left.
What a move.
Ganda naman nun. Will drive. Tagle hits the layup. That's huge. That's huge for Tagle.
And it kay Jason Brickman. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Jason Brickman.
Well, the turnaround shot. And Pangasinan is moving. Will attack and will score. That should be 9-9.
Ruka Curva launches the 3. It's good. A new challenger has entered the chat.
The competition for the most respected title of the North starts tonight. Both teams have proven their credibility in getting here. Can Abra continue their supremacy or can Pangasinan take their hearts all the way to the top? Ang tanong, sino ang tunay na hari ng Norte? Naimbag nga rabii at masantos yalabi ad si kayon amin mga kaliga. This is Game 1 of your North Division Finals inside the Governor Andres P. Bernos Gym in the beautiful province of Abra for the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League Division Finals.
Night belongs to the Abra Solid North Weavers. 30 consecutive victories and counting. Monso lines it up for 3. It's good. Brickman libreng-libre para sa 3. Lista mo na.
The Heatwaves are advancing to the North Division Finals for the first time. Manuel Nacabuelo and scores on the other end. Valencia to beat the shot.
That's going to count.
That's going to count.
And what a big shot.
Di pa tapos ang laban. Dami pa, dami pa.
Time to face the toughest challenge, the #1 team in Abra.
Brickman tries another 3. Back-to-back.
Baguliano to Mapulak.
Mark Puma was rejected. Gil Chu inside.
Manuel the turnaround shot. What a win here on the road.
The word dominate.
Leads to a basket. Kasama pang foul.
It's going to be a best inspired affair. The journey up north leads us here to the mountains of Abra, where a fiery showdown looms between two powerhouse squads left standing in their division. One has stormed through the playoffs with authority, stamping their class all over the opposition. But standing in their way is perhaps the grittiest team this postseason, having survived 2 grueling wars against former champions. And we have a full-size crowd inside the Governor Andres P. Bernos Gymnasium dito po sa Bangged, Abra, as the Abreños are in full force. Kita nyo naman, 3,200 people in attendance as they witness game number 1 of the North Division Finals between Pangasinan and Abra. And they welcome Vic Manuel and the rest of the Pangasinan Heatwaves going up against Dave Ildefonso and the Abra Solid North Weavers. Game number 1 between Pangasinan and Abra. You see here Vic Manuel, who took charge in that game number 3 conquest of San Juan. And Coach Jerson Cabiltes relishing the underdog role this season para dito sa Pangasinan. And standing in their way is Jason Brickman, terrific in that series against Caloocan. And also at the helm for Abra, Coach Yong Garcia, amidst all the noise, has built cool, calm, and collected para dito sa Abra Solid North Weavers. Welcome to the 2025 MPBL Playoffs, Ken Pangilinan with Coach Mike Perez. Coach Mike, it's your 3rd season dito sa MPBL. How excited are you for this matchup between Pangasinan and Abra?
I'm super excited. Lalo na you consider that we are actually gonna have a new king here in the North. Katulad ng minention kanina ni Mika Abisamis, these teams have really earned their spot here in the North Division Finals here in the MPBL.
And patiin natin yung mga nanonood sa atin live on the official MPBL YouTube channel and also on Solar Sports and on pusop.com. And these two teams, nakita natin, Coach Mike, how different their paths have been in getting to this stage. And of course, we have our third member of our panel who has something special for us. We have Miss Mika Abisamis. Mika, what do you have?
Guys, we need to stick on our defensive scheme. And ibigay nyo lang yung best effort nyo in every possession and kailangan meron tayong disiplina sa depensa. Possession by possession.
This is the moment we have been waiting for, guys. We have earned every right to be here. Show them we are worthy. Play with pride, play with heart, play with discipline. No excuses, no regrets, and no doubts. We're gonna steal game one, boys. We're gonna steal game one.
Ayan na nga nakita natin, two of the most respected coaches of the league, two of the most detailed, two different characters as well. Itong si Coach Yong Garcia, syempre he's coming from a 30 straight winning games. Pero naman ito si Coach Gerson Cabilte, syempre passion, puso from number 7. Umabot siya dito sa Division Finals. Kaya kung makikita nyo, iba yung mga characters nila. Itong si Coach Yong, medyo mas kalmado siya. Siguro kasi nasa kanya talaga yung mga targets dito sa series na to. Pero ito naman si Coach Gerson, kasi sabi niya, wala talagang naniniwala Naaabot sila dito. Kayo ba, Coach Mike, Ken, anong tingin nyo?
Grabe, yung pinagdaanan ni Coach Gerson and the rest of Pangasinan, certainly something worth looking at. But of course, with Abra, those 30 straight wins, nothing to scoff at, Coach Mike. But Mika, nabanggit mo na rin yung coaches. Kamusta yung players heading into this matchup?
Seryoso, yung mga dugouts ngayon, wala talagang masyadong ngumingiti, talagang kahit apiran mo sila, wala talagang tumatawa, kaya alam talaga nila what is at stake dito sa larong ito.
Certainly locked in, both of these teams, they know what's at stake, Coach Mike. And when we look at how these two teams reach this stage, Coach Mike, binanggit na natin time and time again, magkaiba yung paraan ng pagdating nila dito. With Pangasinan, they've been under the microscope for the entire season, Coach Mike. Nakita natin, they had to go through the play-in and talagang hirap na hirap sila, given the personnel that they had. Medyo suspect yung naging simula ng kanilang season.
Oh, totoo yan. And when you talk about the Abra Weavers, definitely you gotta say this has been a very spectacular season for them. But man, these Heatwaves have been very much marvelous in the games that they played recently, and all because of them really coming together. This is their first playoff run in the franchise history, and it's been nothing short of incredible. 20-9 win-loss record, 7th in the North Division, had to go through the play-in, all lost the number 4 spot potentially for them because they lost to Caloocan, had to go the more difficult route, and man, these guys really came together as a team and buckled down on the things that they wanted to do and stayed disciplined, just like what Coach Gerson mentioned, that they indeed would want to be back here in the finals here.
You have to consider how they missed the playoffs last season, talking about itong Pangasinan Heatwaves. On the other side of the fence, we got the Abra Solid North Weavers na kasabay nilang pumasok last year, got into the playoffs as the number 7 seed, but this time around, a totally different year para dito sa Abra.
There have been a very few set of teams that have been dominant in an MPBL season, and man, Abra's gotta be one of them. After absorbing their defeat against their lone defeat against Pasay, which is exactly 8 months ago to this day, which happened on March 18 when they lost by 10 points against Pasay. Since then, they have not lost. They went into the playoffs. Got to the number 1 spot, swept Ilagan, then swept Caloocan, and right now, really, they're standing on the ground, which they feel they have a firm hold on the top spot in the North Division.
Nothing short of impressive. Talking about itong Abra Solid North Weavers. And Coach Mike, silipin natin yung ating updated playoff bracket. And when you look at the teams remaining, did you expect this as we are here at the final stages of our playoffs?
Well, naturally, ang iniisip mo palagi pagdating dyan, the higher seeded teams would be most likely to advance.
Yeah.
But we've had a couple of lower seeded teams, in the north being Pangasinan and in the south recently being Binyan. This just really just shows us that ibang klase itong playoff seasons na ito, and we've had double overtimes, we've had to go through the play-ins, and you really had to go to the stretch of 3 games specifically for the Heatwaves. 3 games to beat Nueva Ecija, 3 games to get to the finals by beating San Juan, and it's just been very entertaining and a very thrilling season so far in the MPBL in the playoffs.
Something to note, Coach Mike, it's the first time in 7 seasons na walang San Juan in Batangas in this stage, and well, medyo iba yung format natin this year for our MPBL fans this season, Coach Mike?
And this even adds more to the excitement because of yung pagbabago ng best of 5 series natin sa division finals. I feel really it gives more room for the coaches and the teams to make adjustments in a longer series by 2 more games. And dito lalabas talaga ang pagiging tactician ng mga coaches, at the same time being disciplined nito mga players to try and implement the plans on the floor.
So instead of a best of 3, best of 5 na po tayo in the division finals. Well, here in the North, 2 players have stood out throughout the years for their respective squads. Both were former Basilan players under Coach Gerson Cabiltes. On one side, kasama pa rin ni Coach Gerson, ito si Alin Bulanadi. And on the other end, Encho Serrano, 2-time champion, hoping to achieve a rare 3rd straight championship para sa kanya.
When you talk about these guys, mention mo na nga, champion, playoff experience para dito sa dalawa. 12 games para dito sa kay Alin. He's had 6 in Basilan, 6 as well here in Pangasinan. But total 21 advantage in the playoff experience for Encho Serrano, having played 17 for Pampanga and 4 for Abra. Everything pretty much equal. Everything pretty much even between these two. It really is just a matter of who gets a really good game, especially here in game number 1 where the Heatwaves look to steal home court advantage here in Abra.
And those 2 guys are with Miss Miga Abisamis.
Maraming salamat. 2 of the most important men here tonight. Alin Bulanadi and of course, Encho Serrano. Magandang gabi. Mga Ginoo. Alin, matinding teamwork at puso ang rason kung bakit kayo umabot dito. Pero ito na yung hardest test na sinasabi ni Coach Gerson. Paano kayo naghanda?
Yun lang yung sa practice namin. Siyempre, Abra number 1 sa North. So, alam namin mabigat yung team na yun. And then, dinanan namin sa ensayo. And then, yung preparation, mental and physically, kailangan na doon kami. So, I think okay naman. And then, prepared kami for ngayon sa larong to.
Makakakita na ba kami ng mga dagger shots?
Sana ako. Kung palari tayo ng Panginoon, yun lang.
Maraming salamat, Alin. Anong gusto mo sabihin sa lahat ng fans ng Pangasinan?
Una-una, salamat sa suporta yung mga taga-Pangasinan. Patuloy po sana kami suportahan, lalo-lalo na ngayon. And salin niyo po kami sa mga prayers nyo. And thank you po sa mga boss namin and sa mga families namin na nakasuporta palagi. Thank you po.
Right. Maraming salamat, Alin Bulanadi. Ench, 30 straight wins, pero ito na yung ultimate test ng North Division. Maraming beses ka na rin napunta sa ganitong sitwasyon. Pero anong nasa isip mo na, imagine, number 7 ng Pangasinan, umabot sila sa point na to?
Siguro yung pinagandaan namin sa practice, kailangan talaga naming sundin. And maglaro kami as a team kasi yun nga, finals na, yung tinalo ng Pangasinan, number 2 and number 3. So talagang kasi andyan sila, gusto din talaga nilang manalo. So yun lang, ibibigay lang namin yung best namin para makuha namin yung panalo.
And so, punong-puno ng mga Abreño. Itong court na to, marami pang nasa labas. Anong gusto mo sabihin sa kanilang lahat?
Muli po, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat po sa suporta sa amin. Yun lang po, tulad ng pinapangako po namin, 1 game at a time lang po. Gagawin po namin yung best namin para makuha po natin yung champion. And syempre, sa family ng boss namin, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng suporta na binibigay niyo po sa amin. Yun lang po.
Maraming salamat, Encho Serrano. Now it's gonna be Pangasinan versus Abra. Miguel Pere, take it away.
Good evening, MPBL fans. And we are live here inside the Governor Andres P. Berlos Memorial Gym. Welcome to Game 1 of the best of 5 of the finals in the North Division between Pangasinan Heatwaves and your Abra Solid North Weavers. Live on BoostUP.com, YouTube channel, and on Solar Sports. This is the 2025 Manny Pacquiao MPBL Season 7. Here are the starters, beginning with the Pangasinan Heatwaves. Starting at guard, number 1, Mike Di Gregorio. At forward, number 27, Joray Napoles. At center, number 28, Michael Mabula. At guard, number 7, Headset Gabo. And the other forward, number 13, Alin Bulanadi. The head coach for the Heatwaves is Gerson Cabiltes. Assistant coaches, Noy Catalan, Jun Marzan, Florian Pineda, Ariel Season, Harold Dang, Joseph Gion, Dan Xavier, and June Medina.
Nayon, his second straight free to begin this match. Si Taiwan, pinasa sa ilalim. John Oduba with a great grip run, scores another basket for the
Abra solid North Weavers going through the victory.
Also lines it up for three. It's good. Jiu inside. Brickman, libre, para sa tres. Lista mo na.
By the Abra Weavers that we've mentioned the word dominate and dominant because that's what pretty much they've done this season.
To the Abra solid North Weavers. 30 consecutive victories and counting.
And now, mga kaliga, get on your feet because it's time to meet the starting unit for your Abra Solid North Weavers. Starting at center, number 30, Alfred Batino. At forward, number 24, John Oduba. At guard, number 28, the Clay, Mike Ayonayon. Also at guard, number 15, Jason Brickman. And a small forward, number 1, the Sheriff, Dave Ildefonso. The head coach for the Abra Solid North Weavers is Young Garcia. The assistant coaches, Dan of Miranda, Don Uro, and Excel Valera.
Alright, game number 1 between Pangasinan and Abra. Starting off for the Heatwaves. Jesse Gabo, Mike Di Gregorio, Mike Mabulak, Jory Napoles, and Aline Bulanadi for Abra. Jason Brickman, Mike Ayonayon, Ryan Batino, John Uruba, and Dave Ildefonso are game officials for this ball game. Crew chief, Seth Pingol Jr., Umpire 1, J.R. Francisco, Umpire 2, Brian Ramirez, and alternate referee is Richard Carpio. And Jory Napoles, Jesse Gabo, Michael Mabulak have started all of their playoff games so far for Pangasinan, while for Abra, Dave Ildefonso, who now gets the ball and get first crack at it, will start things off once again para dito sa Weavers. Jason Brickman picks it out. Ayonayon for three, no good. And a rebound control by Mike Mabulak.
And it's very important for them to get that quick look of that first corner three for the Abra Weavers. You know, he was set up well, si Ayonayon, but really just couldn't knock it down. And more importantly for the Heatwaves, they were able to secure the defensive rebound for them to get a crack on their end of the floor.
Napoles, who struggled in the last two games in that series against San Juan, commits a traveling violation.
Napoles pretty much, you know, pagdating sa scoring from the perimeter at rebound, yan talaga ang hinahanap mo para dito sa Heatwaves. And the best games that he's played so far been game number 3 of that Nueva Ecija series and that game number 1 rather against San Juan.
Another shot from Mike, too strong, and another rebound by Mabulak.
Medyo may factor ng konting gigil pa, no, between these two teams. I mean, trying to feel things out here, start the game.
Rim run by Uduba. And he got fouled from behind by Jory Napoles.
And when you talk about force or players on the floor spot that can actually do a rim run, you know, that's your guy in there. John Oduba is one of those, you know, big men that can actually run the floor. Basta na-secure niya na yung defensive rebound. And right there, really out-sprinting against the defense of the Heatwaves.
Interesting decision, though, for Abra to have Ryan Batino and John Oduba start the front court by Coach Yong Garcia.
Well, I feel it's a matter of matchups between these two coaches. Of course, you do understand that Vic Manuel really, for the most part, is coming off the bench for Coach Gerson, and so you want to prepare for that if you now are Coach Yong.
He actually came off the bench in all 7 of their playoff games, including this one, talking about Vic Manuel.
Well, it helps him pace and see the game. It's bad communication right there. Aline Bulanadi thought that was going to be a short roll for Jory Napoles, but instead, you know, he still wanted to do up screen for Bulanadi. And so, you know, little miscommunication leading to a turnover.
Jason Brickman getting past Hesed Gabo. Fires a pass to Mike Ayon. Brickman fake. 7 seconds left on their shot clock. Mike floats it up and in. First field goal for the Weavers.
A very dangerous setup right there for the Abra Weavers. You got your best three-pointer in Jason Brickman with a really good perimeter finisher in Mike Ayon, all on the same side of the floor after a little dry action on the other end and allowing the defense to come in late.
Shot is no good for Pangasinan. Ildefonso, his first real touch. Brickman drives. Feeds it to Ryan Batino.
Travel.
And got caught. Ito si Ryan Batino. 3-0 start para dito sa Abra Solid North Weavers.
But so far, paint defense has been pretty good for the Heatwaves. Nothing has come easy inside for the Abra Weavers. A couple of shots from the outside from three, and then a perimeter jumper. Well, there we go.
Who struggled in that series against San Juan.
Boy, let me tell you, Ken, Hesed Gabo is the best three-pointing guard for the Heatwaves so far, especially here in the playoffs. He's averaging roughly about 43% shooting from the outside, and a couple of them he even made 60 and 70%. But you still gotta check paint action like that from John Oduba.
Steal by Jason Brickman. Ildefonso, his first shot is no good. Hesed Gabo corrals the miss.
Well, that's one thing that Dave Ildefonso, in my opinion, has not really been able to harvest a lot from, making shots from the outside. For the most part, he's really been, dominant inside the paint, a little bit closer from the three. Medyo challenge pa ng konti.
Pull up galing kay Mike Di Gregorio. Mintes. Quickly on the other end, Abra. Up by 2. Uduba naghanap ng papasahan. The denial by Di Gregorio, but Brickman steps into the lane but missing the jump shot.
Well, good defense right there to try and challenge that shot by Brickman. After that defender really getting sealed and Hesed Gabo coming in late, but a good recovery of that shot.
Abra down by 2. See here, this shot by Hesed Gabo. Long 2. Mukhang long 2 ito, no?
So that's just a long 2. That one's a little bit out of a stack action or a little Spain action between those three guys, to which Hesed really came in and made that shot at them.
Mike Mabulak puts it in. Current score is 5-all. They initially ruled that one a 3-pointer. Pero malamang i-review nila yan at the next dead ball situation. Mike Ayon, binigay muna kay John Oduba. Posting up Jory Napoles. Napoles standing his ground, forcing a turnover. Oh, what a pass, but broken up though. But the recovery by Mike Di Gregorio, but it will roll out. Tense moments to begin game number 1. Ildefonso.
Jason's free.
You have to commend that defense though by Di Gregorio, standing his ground. Batino short on the jumper. Bulanadi onto the front court. Drag his pivot foot.
So far, wala ka nakikitang magandang flow offensively from both these teams. It really just shows you that some of the action are really getting checked defensively by the respective teams.
Assist of the game is powered by 747 Live. Dito ka sa legit.
And Mike Mabulak has been huge for Coach Jerson Cabiltes in the playoffs. I'd like to think that his contribution, that Nueva Ecija game, and his steadiness in that San Juan Knights series has really allowed itong Heatwaves to get past those two teams and land here in the North Division Finals.
3-man sub para dito sa Abra. The two bigs, Raven Gonzalez, J.O. Chu, together with Encho Serrano. Release pass, but J.O. Chu caught with an offensive foul.
Well, J.O. Chu clearly trying to prevent Mike Mabulak from getting into that lane path for Raven Gonzalez. And so Mike Mabulak really staying active this time. That was 2 on the ball. He got that Gortat screen, but really held on to Mike Mabulak, not allowing him to extricate and try to stop that layup attempt by Raven.
Maguliano and Galanza now in. Uy, Coach Yong, visibly heated. He is right at the face of referee Sev Pingol.
I think the point of contention was that parang kinikage yung mga players ni Coach Yong. That's why he's trying to what he's trying to communicate kay Sev Pingol. But importante dito, Coach Yong's got to stay here in this game, and you know, level heads got to come in. A lot of at stake in this game number 1. So you got to keep your control.
The intensity already at an all-time high to begin this ball game, Coach Mike.
Yeah, and you know why? Because, you know, right now we've already played half of the quarter, but we've only seen a total of 10 points between these two teams, and the shooting has not been good. We're only, you know, getting about 28% from Abra and just 33% from Pangasinan. You'd like to think the numbers would be so much better in that department.
Gabo, nakatakas. Pasa pupunta kay Mabulak, who scores 8-5 in favor of the Heatwaves.
And with Mike Mabulak playing on the outside, it forces J.O. Chu now to try and recover defensively, because he cannot afford to drop coverage against Mike Mabulak, because Mike has got good range. And now it's Coach Jerson's turn to try and, you know, complain to the officials. Well, that was the move right there by Mike Mabulak. That dive in the middle after that dribble penetrate by Hesed Gabo right on the right side lane.
Coach Mike, 5 minutes, 34 seconds in. Both Coach Yong Garcia and Coach Jerson Gabildes getting teed up already.
But understandably so. I mean, these guys, nag-prepare itong parehong coaches na to at parehong teams na to. And when you see some of the things that you do on the floor not really getting very fluid results, you know, sometimes frustration does creep in. But again, similar to Coach Yong, Coach Jersey's got to keep his cool, because he's just too important a piece in that coaching staff for the Heatwaves.
Serrano shooting the technical free throw. All net. 8-6 Pangasinan. Kung JB Bernos looking intently. So far, ano yung magandang ginagawa ng Pangasinan dito in the first quarter, Coach Mike?
I think they're really good at keeping in front of every Abra Weaver trying to go for an attack to the rack. See how they rotate right now. Even on that late contest, somebody peels off, and normally that shot, which, you know, pretty much patented na para kay Encho Serrano, hindi pa rin niya namig dahil nag-rotate sa harapan niya itong si JP Maguliano. And the spacing has not been so good for the Weavers to start that quarter. I felt, you know, that was too close a pass underneath for the Weavers, and so that caused that turnover.
At kapansin-pansin sa panig ng Abra, not really sharp to begin. Mike Mabulak,
yeah.
short stab. It will pop out. Offensive rebound by JP Maguliano. Galanza fading away. Jumper is short. Rebound, David Defonso. Very interesting that the one guarding him is the much smaller Mike De Gregorio. Serrano fake. Another floater. Short. Gets it back. Wala pa din. Ball will stay with Abra. Foul will be called on JP Maguliano.
And you know what, Ken? Almost every player on the floor right now are telling their teammates, you know, settle down. You guys got to relax, which is exactly what we're seeing so far from our vantage point. Halos lahat may gigil eh, no?
Right. Serrano wants to post up Galanza. Encho.
Drop step.
Kick out pass. Brickman. Traveled. Rare turnover from Jason Brickman.
But I thought Encho Serrano was going to go to that drop step on that baseline side after going a couple of dribbles towards the middle. He saw that that middle gate was never open, so the best way really would be to go to that baseline drop step. But since he didn't, you know, and maganda rin naman yung pagkakapasa kay Jason Brickman, ang ganda rin yung pagkaka-peel off, kaya na-force ng traveling.
Marvin Taiwan, pinasok na dito ni Coach Yong Garcia. Offensive foul. Laban naman kay Mike Mabulak. Referee's calling it tight early.
And definitely. I mean, and these guys do have a very tough task of keeping everything in check. Dito, this time, that downhill really, went to that path slightly. Itong si Mike Mabulak not allowing Marvin Taiwan that space to try and avoid that contact.
Vic Manuel ay nasa loob na para sa Pangasinan. Maging si Ian Melencio. Ildefonso papasok sa loob.
Now that's where it becomes tough for the Heatwaves. Because if you've got Dave Ildefonso being guarded by a smaller guy, be it Mike De Gregorio or an Ian Melencio for that matter, in case of peel-offs and switches, the moment that he goes downhill, you notice how that defense shrinks and everybody goes inside the paint. And if the shooters are going to be really good for the Weavers, because they'll be open outside, it'd be good opportunities to hit those threes for the Weavers as well.
David Defonso struggling from the line so far in this playoffs. LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL. Wow. Oh, of 2 at the line.
Oh, man. Really, the jitters getting to the players right now.
2 puntos pa rin ang lamang ng Pangasinan.
Open right side.
Maguliano floats it up. No good. Camacho, who hasn't really played meaningful minutes dito sa playoffs, activated here by Coach Yong Garcia.
Now, one thing you observe also about the Weavers is every time kung may pagkakataon tatakbo yan. Because sila ang leader pagdating sa stat ng fast breaks, and a lot of that has really come from defensive rebounds and shot blocks, which allows them to attack the other side of the floor.
We have a coach's challenge from Coach Jerson Cabiltes. We'll find out if he's right. We'll be right back.
Upon review, the challenge was successful. There was no foul.
Coach Jerson letting the refs hear it after being successful in his challenge.
Well, one thing you see right here is Encho Serrano was trying to drive that right side of the floor, and that was clearly a tap by Galanza. I would have loved to see Simon Camacho go a little bit outside to run the floor wide and leave that space in the middle for what's called a truck lane for itong si Encho to attack.
Camacho sa loob. Gonzales lays it in. Tabla tayo, 8-all.
One of the very few times that they've been successful in attacking inside the paint. Para dito sa Abra Weavers, malinis yung pagkaka-execute at maganda.
Melencio, may tangan ng bola. Pass inside, Maguliano. In traffic, pinasa palabas. Vic Manuel, pupukol sa 3. Mintis, rebound, Encho Serrano. We are tied as we are at 2 minutes in the first period. Marvin Taiwan gets into the paint, floats it up and in.
Well, the Heatwaves did everything right in that situation, but soon as they adjusted that defense, that right side of the floor was really left open for Marvin Taiwan to try and penetrate.
Malakas yung tira ni Galanza sa labas.
That one's loud.
Ildefonso tried to set up Serrano in transition, but pass a bit too strong. Play of the game is brought to you by 747 Live. Dito ka sa legit Your game, your chance, your thrill, only with 747 Live.
And just philosophies of play right there. I mean, you bring two on the ball, you got to release it. That next guy that opens sees the entire play, and you have a weak side cut by Raven Gonzalez. Really just free for him to take. And Vic Manuel, I tell you, the big man has shot really good from three, especially here in the playoffs.
Balik ang kalamangan sa panig ng Pangasinan. Mike Ayonayon skips it to Taiwan, who fires a free air ball. Bola babalik sa Pangasinan.
And by the looks of it, it sure looks like the three-point shot attempt is a shot that the Heatwaves are willing to give up.
Three-point shot is brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
Very similar to how they did it the other end. Ian Melencio brings two on the ball. Vic Manuel stays up top, and everybody on drop coverage with that ball, and that free make by Vic Manuel, who is right now shooting 10 of his last 27 attempts from three, which he made in all the playoff games that he's played. No, 6 of them.
Sa poste ulit, Serrano. Double team by Melencio. Almost got away with a steal. Camacho with 3 on the shot clock. Ayonayon to bail them out. Off the heel. The tip will not work from Raven Gonzalez. Last shot time para dito sa Pangasinan. Melencio. Abra still has fouls to give though.
You got to watch out for Ralph Robin.
Melencio lost it. Still enough time for Abra.
Well, Raven Gonzalez tried to blitz from behind and then really just wanting to circumnavigate that help by Raven in that situation. Ian Melencio lost that rock. The shooters now will go inside.
Kita mo yung nangyayari, Coach Mike, ha? Pagpasok ni David Defonso, agad tinawag ni Coach Gerson si Mike De Gregorio.
Yes.
So he's looking like the primary defender tasked to guard Dave. Taiwan. Kick out pass.
That's the shot.
Cholo Mendoza. No good. And that signals the end of quarter number 1.
Well, they were saying there were 6 players on the floor. I think that's what Coach Yong was trying to communicate to the officials on that attempt.
You see what transpired here in quarter number 1, Coach Mike.
Yeah, and pretty much, both these teams struggling a little bit, trying to find a really good flow, but a couple of plays right there. Simon Camacho, in this case, Simon able to find the cut by Raven Gonzalez, and on the other end, a drop coverage against Vic Manuel. You can't do that because Vic has been one of the best big men shooting 3 so far in the playoffs.
Pangasinan with a 1-point lead over Abra at the end of quarter number 1.
Kung ngayon, ito nga sa Nueva Series, sa San Juan Series, walang naniwala, ano pa dito sa akin? It's time to prove them wrong once more. Abra's 30 straight wins. 30 straight wins. It's time to end that streak.
In 3 division finals appearances with 3 different teams, Gerson Cabiltes finds himself in the toughest challenge of his career yet. But as we know him, challenge just makes him more eager. Number 7 to this, going against Nueva Ecija challenged his pride. Going against San Juan challenged his smarts. Going against Abra will challenge his patience. Paulit-ulit niyang sinasabi, walang naniwala. No Victoria and Pagsanhan today, who are recovering from an unfortunate accident coming to Abra. Wing side could be a bit more complicated given the composition of the Weavers. But has Coach Gerson ever backed out? Nope. He thrives in the hardest of situations, which is, well, his main advantage. Pero dapat pala nagpadagdag tayo kay GP Bot at kay Direk Freddy ng coaches matchup tonight. What an entertaining show. Ken, Coach Mike?
Oo naman, Mika. Grabe. Saksi tayo dyan, no? And, well, Coach Gerson, the trust that he has in all of his players despite missing several cogs here. Nakita mo, no? Mike De Gregorio putting an imprint despite being outsized. able to contain Dale Ildefonso at least in the first quarter.
Minsan hinahanap mo rin talaga yung kontra-tempo na kind of player to try to defend against the top ones. And in that case, to your point, putting Mike De Gregorio on DI, maybe, strength-wise, lamang definitely dyan si Dale Ildefonso. Pero kung speed ang pag-uusapan, kahit papaano, may laban, may palag itong si Mike De Gregorio on that side.
Ralph Robin, wide open for free. It will clank off the rim. Melencio gives up the foul. And again, the road of Pangasinan in getting here had to win twice in Palayan City, in a place that for some other teams were too tough for them to overcome. And then, withstanding a very experienced San Juan squad, winning on the road again in that do-or-die game number 3 showdown. And both times, Coach Mike, yung game number 3 against Nueva Ecija and against San Juan, ang laki ng kinailangan nilang habulin doon, and yet they came out on top, and now they're here in the North Division Finals. This free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
But Ken, I was gonna say, if you look at the offensive set so far of the Heatwaves, one thing looks certain though. They are right now using the three-point shot as a key weapon against big teams here in the playoffs. In their previous game, in game number 3, they made 11 out of 27 where they shot 41% from 3 and really allowed them to, get game number 3 to their favor. Pero dito, nakikita mo, nandun ulit yung trust that guys like Ralph Robin, who's been very rarely used, if not never, in the playoffs. And then, of course, Vic Manuel, one of the top three-point shooting big men.
Steal here by Uduba. In transition, Abra, where they're most dangerous. And it leads to a layup by Marwin Taiwan.
Well, one might say on that fast break, everybody really just in blue, trying to go down and fill those lanes. And tama ka, fast break ang isa sa mga numero unong weapon nitong Abra Weavers.
Number 1 in that department.
Agree. Where they are, almost 22 points per game in that department.
Fast break of the game is brought to you by Extreme X Pop, personal karaoke speaker every day. Karaoke.
There are teams that you cannot afford to turn the ball over, and the Abra Weavers are definitely one of them. They are so good defensively that if you commit a mistake, it's off to the races. Fast break the other way.
Mike DG, 4 seconds left on their shot clock. But Batino commits a kickball. Shot clock will be reset to 14. Coach Gerson sues for time as they trail by 3 with a little over 2 minutes gone by here in the second period. And also as part of the MPBL's plans, earlier today we saw some players getting drug tested randomly. Ito sila Hesed Cabo, Jory Napoles, Ian Melencio. Sa panik ng Abra din, we had Jason Brickman, CJ Austria, who actually was activated today alongside Simon Camacho. MPBL Commissioner Kenneth Duremdes, Head of Security Rudy Distrito, Head of Operations Emer Oreta, nandun din si Boss Robert Kai. Of course, Games and Amusements Board people traveling all the way here to Abra.
And I think that's very important for us to have some random checks on the being of our players health-wise. And so far, itong depensa ng Weavers, much as pinahihirapan yung Heatwaves, nakakahanap pa rin ng pagkakataon na makabasket. That was a tough basket by Mike De Gregorio from 3.
Shot clock winding down. Probably released it, 0.3. 0.3 na lang siya shot clock.
Halos wala nang andip. Ang feeling ko pagkasalo, diretso na kagad, naiangat na eh. This was a shot that he's gotta make.
He misses. Batino corrals another offensive rebound, giving another possession para dito sa Abra. Taiwan susugod. draws a foul. You like the aggressiveness of Marvin Taiwan coming off the bench this time after starting the majority of their games in the regular season.
Yes, and I feel it's high time for, Marvin Taiwan to, after a series of games where Jason Brickman has been the top guy that they went to on the point guard spot. As you see Marquis right there, one of the veterans of the Abra Weavers. If you're Coach Young, you just like how Marvin Taiwan is actually stepping up to the plate in this very important game number 1 of the North Division Finals.
Has risen to the occasion in some of their biggest games this season, particularly against Quezon, Pangasinan as well, and here in Bangued, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, and the most recent one, game number 2 against Ilagan Isabela.
Yeah. And it's been a tough playoff, actually, for Marvin Taiwan postseason. He has not shot the ball well from the field. And another missed point blank from Dave Ildefonso. How many times do you say that Dave gets a paint touch and misses a layup?
Di Gregorio, supply. Bola nakuha ni Gabo sa loob. Collado, pinilit. Overshooting the target. Thought he got fouled.
Well, I thought he really just overshot the mark. Because there were a couple of guys right in front of him, Batino and John Oduba, he had to contend with. And since he had that corner empty, nobody was in there to be, that pressure release of a 3. He had to take that shot.
14 all, Taiwan. Going right at Hesed Gabo. Gabo comes away with the basketball para sa Pangasinan. He is joined by Mike Di Gregorio, Jay Collado, Alin Bulanadi, and Mike Mabulak.
And so far, itong ploy ng pag-stay home at hindi pa kawalan si Dave Ildefonso on the offensive end. It almost looks like a box and one with Mike De Gregorio really just trying to stay in front of Dave Ildefonso. Good steal.
Nakapasok lang, Jason Brickman. Off the steal, lays it in. Celebrating his 34th birthday, Jason Brickman.
Oh, he's just been impressive so far. Knocking down shots on a really good clip. Made 61% of shots here in the playoffs. Dave in the paint.
Still can't buy a bucket. But he will troop to the line for 2 shots. He is joined by Mike Ayonayon, Jason Brickman, John Oduba, and Ryan Batino.
Ganda ng timing ng pagkaka-steal from behind Jason Brickman. He knew that that right hand would be the receiving hand of Hesed Gabo, and he just went behind it and tipped it until he got that deflect and that steal.
First free throw make after 3 tries para dito kay Dave Ildefonso.
He actually has not shot the ball well in the playoffs. I mean, you look at his numbers, maybe the points have been down, the percentage has been down, but only because he's allowed his other teammates to be, the one to take the spotlight, because it really allows other guys to shine outside of him. And guys like, I feel Jason Brickman and Encho Serrano has really benefited from the way that Ildefonso has actually played in the postseason.
Biggest lead of Abra now at 4
Nice
points.
pass.
The dump inside, Mabulak. 2 points. Pangasinan cuts it down to 2.
And somehow when that defense goes on scramble mode for the Abra Weavers, they totally forget about Mike Mabula, who so far has got 6 points. He's 3 out of 5 from the field.
Ayonayon fading away. A thing of beauty for Mike.
Well, let me tell you, sa lahat ng nag-shot attempt so far, that's the one that's the cleanest looking of them all. Yung tira niya ni Mike Ayon.
Approaching the halfway point of the second quarter, Mabulak tried to shake off John Oduba. And Oduba will be tagged with a personal foul after Mabulak made his move.
And I like this move by Mike Ayon because in the games against Caloocan, his numbers have really been down. He scored only a total of 9 points in those couple of games against Caloocan. But for him to be going in there and to continue to look for his shots, I think that's going to bode well, especially if the Heatwaves are going to keep a check on Dave Ildefonso.
Bulanadi gives it up to Mabulak. 4 seconds left on their shot clock. Mabulak, the pass to Lervin Flores. They will let him take that shot.
They will. Most definitely. If he's the last guy that takes the shot on a clock winding, they'll be fine.
Up and under move. Jason Brickman scoring 4 points here in the second period.
All right, Ken. And so far in the battle of the point guards, this has been a good matchup between Hesid Gabo and Jason Brickman, with Jason winning so far in the last couple of possessions.
Play of the game is brought to you by 747 Live. Dito ka sa legit, your game, your chance, your thrill. Only with 747 Live.
You see how he always stays in control, keeping those 2 feet pretty much in check until Hesed leaves his feet on the ground, and then just the attack from Jason Brickman.
Gixter, fan of the game, born for greatness. Still live here from the Governor Andres B. Bernos Memorial Gymnasium in Banggip, Abra, where the Weavers are 7-0, dating back to last season. Jason Brickman, kumbaga sa quarterfinals, naka-primera pa lang, kick it up into another gear in the division semifinals.
Oh, totoo yan. Especially, I feel in those last couple of games against Caloocan, where he was really big. Right now, he's got 4 points.
For more on Jason, let's go to Mika.
And after that last shot, I just want to say happy birthday to Jason Brickman. Today, he turns 34. But I also want to talk about Coach Yong Garcia, who has been part of a lot of successful stints in the past with different teams. But this is a different experience, obviously, winning 30 straight games with a stellar lineup. This is his first division finals as a head coach, and it's not easy being in his position, as pressure is definitely on his side. Just a brief history, he never thought of getting into coaching ever. Was happy being a guard, but there were not much openings as a player. He was about to leave for Dubai to work there. But at 27 years old, he will never forget that call of Boss Danny to coach a semi-pro league team. And the rest was history. Today, he remembers his thoughts as that young 27-year-old coach, and at 50, he can't wait to get a ring. Ken, Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. Huwag nating kalimutan, no? Si Coach Yong won a championship, well, in another league as well. So, yung resume ni Coach Yong hindi rin matatawaran compared to Coach Jerson Cabites. But again, yung pressure, no, of him having to guide these talented players of Abra and trying to get them a championship here. But again, he's always been focused on that sole goal para sa kanilang kupunan.
And more importantly, as you see that block right there by J.U. Chu, and you love that J.U. moves his feet against a smaller guard right in front of him.
Fast break of the game is brought to you by Extreme X Play on-the-go speaker. Take your music anywhere.
And I'm pretty sure that last huddle that the Weavers have had, hey look Mike, Dave's getting checked. You got to take over the game. And I think that also would be the same message to guys like Encho Serrano and even Jason Brickman.
Fast break points, 7-0 in favor of the Abra Solid North Weavers.
And no surprises right there, because itong Pangasinan Heatwaves would really want to, get into their half-court sets. Well, only because mabilis rin bumaba sa defensive in transition itong Weavers.
9th turnover already against Pangasinan.
Middle ball screen.
Brickman drives left. Takes it
man.
all the way. How about
my
that from
God.
Jason Brickman?
See that move by Jason Brickman. And, that pretty much is classic middle ball screen action. You've got shooters outside, one of your best creators in Jason Brickman, finding the options.
He wants this matchup against Jory Napoles. He will pull up for free. Oh my goodness! He has taken over here in quarter number 2.
The guy who's had a shooting percentage of 61% in all of the 3 games that he's played is taking over right now for the Weavers.
De Gregorio, pinilit. Wala. Bola nakuha ni Camacho. Na kay Brickman na ang bola. 2:20 left.
What a
The pass
pass.
to Ildefonso. Serrano comes away with it. Crossing the baseline.
There you
Pinasa
go.
palabas kay Brickman.
Good decision. Got to give it up for Jason. Allow him to create from there.
Brickman pulls up again. That time way off. Butata inabot galing sa ligot ni Simon Camacho, and Pangasinan forcing a shot clock violation against Abra.
I mean, you immediately see that Jason Brickman on that shot apologized to Simon because Simon knew that he was the role guy. Didn't get to hit him because medyo halfway yung defense between him and Simon.
Ganun-ganun lang, Coach Mike. Dikit tayo kanina. Now, this lead suddenly up to 13. I mean, that's all it takes for Abra.
And it's really important for the Weavers to try and put the ball in the hands of one of your primary creators offensively, and which happens to be Jason Brickman.
That free throw snaps an 11-0 run by the Abra Solid North Weavers.
And this is one thing about the Heatwaves that they really have had challenges with, being consistent on their field goal makes in terms of percentage. Because really, for the most part, when they win games, they shoot the ball very well and they're very patient defensively. Because if they're not, then for the most part, they lose those games.
Abra still up by a dozen.
They blitz him again.
4-on-3 situation.
Oh, no.
Libre na naman!
Oh, no.
Jason Brickman for 3!
The Heatwaves have been blitzing that middle ball action all night long. But that time around, Batino found Jason Brickman for that straight-up free.
Manuel tries to counter. No good. Camacho with a rebound. Approaching the 1-minute mark of the second quarter. Encho Serrano sa bandang kanan. They blitz him. Another opportunity for Abra with the numbers.
Wow.
Si Brickman yung nalibre. Pero that time, Mintes. Gurtiza. Onto the front court for Pangasinan. Spins. Rejected by Simon Camacho.
And judging from the reaction of the crowd, I feel we've just entered the Abra Weavers brand of basketball right there. Little spin of that drive by Gortiza, and how about that help on that block the other end by Simon Camacho. And really guys in blue just being active defensively, trying to help out teammates that got beat.
Abra outscoring Pangasinan 22-6. More importantly, yung output ng Pangasinan in this period. This will be their lowest scoring quarter of the playoffs.
And they can't afford to get into these runs because, one, nasabi na nga natin, napaka-dominant nitong Abra Weavers. And so you gotta stop their runs and at the same time create a run for yourself if you dug yourself a really big hole here in the second quarter.
17 seconds remaining on the game clock.
One flat.
Serrano, crossover, dumps it
Oh,
down low, wide open. John Oduba.
And the one thing I feel that Coach Yong has done, you keep blitzing our two-man action or a middle ball screen, he's turned everything flat. Everybody stays down on that baseline and let your guy with the ball create the situation for the Weavers on the offensive end.
Assist of the game is powered by 747 Live. Dito Hustle legit.
King Gortiza really got left there alone in that island, and once inside the paint, the help came in, but everybody forgot about a guy named John, who's pretty good that close to the rim.
Biggest lead of the ball game at 17 points. Pwede pa nilang dagdagan yan with Abra calling their last time out of the half. Kung JB Bernos, kung Ching Bernos, mas angiti na sila ngayon. No? Kanina medyo tense dahil yung first quarter, dikdikan yung laban. Pero itong Abra, blitzing through quarter number 2. Commissioner Kenneth Doremdes, Head of Security. Rudy Distrito, Head of Operations. Emereta on the far side of the screen, of course. Boss Robert Kai.
Well, understandable naman yung pagka-intense kanina kasi kahit nga tayo dito nanonood, nafe-feel mo yung yung tension sa loob ng floor. How much more the guys playing?
Ildefonso almost made it. But boy, what a quarter for the number 1 team. Spearheaded by this guy, Jason Brickman. How about this performance galing dito kay Jason?
It really was about him taking over in the second quarter. I mean, he stole that ball from Hesed, started creating down on the middle, waited opportunities. If the defense gets dropped, he takes that shot. And how about that weak side swing by Batino to the waiting hands of Jason Brickman for that easy three.
16-1 run by Abra to take a 17-point lead at the half over Pangasinan, 34-17. Consecutive victories and counting. And they are the very first team to advance to the division finals. Abra solid on Weavers. Pangasinan is moving on! The Heatwaves!
A rim rocker! Wow!
Are advancing to the North Division Finals for the first time.
Back at the Governor Andres B. Bernos Gym in the beautiful province of Abra for your Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League Division Finals. My name is Mika Abisamis and right now I am joined by none other than this special guest, the team owner of the Abra Solid North Weavers, Congressman JB Bernos. Kong, nung umpisa po medyo tense, ano? Kasi pati yung coaches, yung players, medyo kinakabahan yung buong court. Pero ito na, lumalabas na yung tunay na Weavers sa score. Ano pong masasabi nyo?
Well, una-una, nagpapasalamat ako sa mga taga-Abra. Thank you, thank you. Yaman ang kadakayo amin. At the start of the game, medyo mainit. The usual yung mga players, pero nagulat ako doon sa mga coaches. Sobrang sila yata yung mas mainit. But anyway, parang nakuha din nila yung the way they're playing now. Yung Weavers, yun, maganda na yung pinapakita.
Sa tingin niyo po, Kong, paano nila maipapatuloy to sa second half? Anong gusto mo sabihin sa kanila pagpunta mo sa dugout?
Well, isa lang naman lagi kong hinihiling sa kanila. Ayoko mapahiya sa harap ng mga taga-Abra.
Alam ko po, nandito ang buong pamilya niyo. Sino po mga gusto niyong batiin? Nandiyan si Kong Ching at the rest of your family.
Yeah, lagi-lagi nandito. Binabati ko yung mami ko, si Mayor Esther, who religiously comes to the games at 78 years old. So wala. Yung Mindoro lang ang hindi niya inatenan. So inuulit ko, giyaman na kada kayo aming taga-Abra. Keep on supporting Abra Weavers. I think we are 6 games away from the last dance. Thank you, thank you.
Big words. Maraming salamat po, Congressman JB Bernos. Magbabalik po ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League Division Finals.
seeking greater glory, Pangasinan and Abra here in game number 1. But so far, the Weavers getting a foothold of this ball game as they lead by 17 points and a half, 34-17. Coach Mike, dikit pa yung first quarter but what really changed here in quarter number 2?
Well, it's really, I feel how the adjustments have been made by the Abra Weavers. They saw earlier na talagang biniblitz nila yung two-man action. They're trying to get that ball off the hand of the primary ball handler para dito sa Weavers. But ang ganda ng pagkaka-react ng Weavers doon in the first quarter. I feel the three-point shot makes have really helped itong Pangasinan. But once Jason Brickman happened in the second quarter, then things got really tougher for the Heatwaves. Matter of fact, they only scored 6 points versus that of the 24 para dito sa Weavers. And kita mo rebounds, assists, even the fast breaks, those departments very crucial. If you're gonna go up against the Weavers, you wanna keep that stat line very close, not allow the Weavers to dominate, because if they do, then it's gonna be tough.
And Pangasinan shot the lights out in game number 3 against San Juan from beyond the arc. A totally different story tonight against Abra.
Yes, though you see those 3 red dots, those are the 3-pointers of Hesed Gabo, Vic Manuel, and the third one being Mike De Gregorio. I felt that third one was a hurried shot, and so a little bit of luck on that shot attempt by Mike De Gregorio. That shot was well defended. They were taking it on the latter part of the shot clock. Samantalang pag tinignan mo naman dito yung shot chart ni Jason Brickman, man, those couple of threes have really come from Jason, and different ways of attacking the defense of the Heatwaves para dito kay Jason.
Grabe yung field goal shooting ni Jason Brickman for the entire playoffs. So impeccable. And he has been really, to be honest with you, the game changer para dito sa Abra.
And this is one of the things that they've done so far. Allow Jason Brickman to create. Everybody stay out of the way. A couple of guys on the wing and the corner, one other guy on the weak side corner, and allow me to operate down on the middle, which is exactly what happened. And the other case, ito yung biniblitz ng Pangasinan Heatwaves. Ito, this time, Encho Serrano bought 2 on the ball, had to give it up. And thankfully for Batino, he found Jason Brickman waiting hands, holding that wing 3, releasing it, and making it. And that pretty much, to me, has been the key adjustment of the Weavers, really, exploiting where the defense has been late or where the defense has been in a position that puts a lot of pressure on them to try and react and recover.
Lowest output in a half by Pangasinan in these playoffs. Only 17 points.
Oh, man.
What a pass! David Defonso, the setup job to Raven Gonzalez.
And David Defonso has seen enough. I'm going to attack that rack strong. And if you guys help out, I'm going to have a weak side guy dive the other way. In that instance, happens to be a big man for the Weavers.
Leading scorers for Pangasinan, Mabulak with 6. Here he is against Jeo Chu. Pinasa muna kay Jory Napoles. Pulling up. It will bounce off the rim. Rebound, Dave.
Right now, if you look at size advantage, if you want to go that route of discussions, almost all positions mas malaki at mas matangkad itong Abra Weavers. And David Defonso on the first 2 possessions, staying active. Earlier, a drive and a pass. This time, a knockdown 3.
3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
Because Dave knew that help was just gonna come, and once na nag-release na yung help na yon, he just stopped and took that shot from 3.
Early timeout by Coach Gerson. They're down by 22 points.
Back in Bangged, Abra for your Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League Division Finals. May kasama akong 2 solid fans ng solid North Weavers para ngayon, si Julia Maris Donato and of course Rian Gonzalez, who is the sister of Raven Gonzalez and who is also part of the Lady Spikers of the LSU. Hello, girls. How are you enjoying this game, Rian?
Well, it's a very intense game.
And lalo na ang angat ng Abra ngayon dito sa score. I just want to ask, syempre magkasama kayo ni Raven sa bahay, how does he prepare for games like this?
He usually plays his PS5. Well, today he asked us to bring his station so he could play before the game.
So yun pala ang way niya of relaxing. What do you want to tell him for the rest of the game?
Just play your game. Kami na bahala sa mga mananakit sa'yo.
Maraming salamat, Rian Gonzalez, the sister of Raven Gonzalez. Kasama ko naman ngayon si Julia. Balita ko, napakatagal mo ng Abra Solid North Weaver fan. Ikwento mo naman sa akin.
Matagal na po akong fan simula po ng last season pa. Kasi po yung papa ko kasi yung unang naging fan at sumunod na po ako. Shout out po sa tatay ko na nanonood sa Canada. Hi, Papa Charles!
Okay, gaano ka ka-fan ng Abra? Anong mga ginagawa mo para sa kanila? Nakita ko may jersey ka pa.
Opo, sobrang fan po ako ng Abra. Wala po akong absent simula last season pa.
Sinong pinaka-idol mo dito sa Abra Solid North Weaver?
Walang iba akong si Dave Ildefonso. Hi, Dave! Kaya mo yan!
Alright, maraming salamat, Julia Maris Donato. Once again, ang solid fans ng Solid North Weavers. Ken and Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. Hindi mapagkakaila kung sino yung kinagigiliwan niyang player dito sa Abra Solid North Weavers. Here he is! The pass to Raven Gonzalez, who slams it down.
Well, but one thing's for sure, the fan base of the Abra Weavers are pretty much intact, and they are having a lot of fun right now, seeing how the Weavers have been performing. And when you take note of what's going on in the third quarter, there is no one Weavers player that's actually dominating. Everyone getting their own spotlight in the third.
Assist of the game is powered by 747 Live. Dito ka sa Legit.
And again, you bring two on the ball. That peel-off switch defense by Jory Napoles was one late and was, you know, sobrang tangkad rin talaga ni Raven Gonzalez. And he was up there ready for that dunk.
Oh, sa loob, Gonzalez. Coach Mike, this has turned into a rout. Abra is in the midst of a 26-1 run.
And that's how impressive they've really been. Well, impressive might be an understatement. That's how dominant they've been.
10 unanswered points, pero yun nga, no, sa kabuuan, 26-1 run. Dahil kanina, 18-16 pa ito eh. And Pangasinan has yet to make a field goal in
Good
quite
one.
some time now until that one from JP Maguliano.
Well, that was a good read by Ralph Robin. I liked how he checked that close out before deciding whether to take the shot or put the ball on the floor. He saw it, attacked it, and saw JP as well on the other end.
Jeo Chu in traffic. Jason Brickman whips it to Jeo Chu using his left hand, fouled hard by the muscle man.
And Jeo Chu is really benefiting from actions like this.
Play of the game brought to you by 747 Live. Dito ka sa Legit. Your game, your chance, your thrill. Only with 747 Live.
There's an offense that when you move right, your other player, your teammate moves right, which is exactly what happened right there. That right hand drive by Ralph Robin was a signal for itong si JP Maguliano to also move at the right side of the floor, to which he curled under, found himself free, got that shot and a good pass.
Before that basket earlier by JP Maguliano, Pangasinan did not have a field goal for 8 minutes.
Alam mo kung gaano ka-importante kanyo makakita ng field goal para dito sa Heatwaves. Doon sila kumukuha ng energy. Doon sila kumukuha ng momentum. And then that feeds off their defensive end of the floor. You see Ian Melencio right now missing. And in shots which he normally would take that close. Or make rather.
And they're shooting a putrid 17% from the field. And tandaan natin, no? In the first two rounds, where they were facing a home court disadvantage, they both won game number 1 in Palayan City against Nueva Ecija, and then game number 1 here in Abra against San Juan. LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL.
Well, there are two things that actually the numbers should be up for the Heatwaves if they want to make the game really close or get a chance for that win. You see Kong JB right there with the other fans of the Abra Weavers. Well, the first one would be field goal makes, to which normally they would, in the playoffs, roughly they're shooting about 43% from the field, but the other one is free throws. They usually have a lot of free throws, and when you look at the numbers right now, there have been only 3 or 4 free throw attempts given para dito sa Pangasinan.
Saka sa akin, Coach Mike, ang laking bagay sa kanila, points in the paint eh. Pero right now, 24-10 in favor of Abra. And they're doing this with David Defonso and Encho Serrano struggling. Serrano misses that jumper.
Yeah, tsaka point in case Ken pagdating sa perimeter shot attempts and makes pangatlo dyan ang Heatwaves. Kaya napaka-importante. Makakuha sila ng magandang field goal percentage. And so far, this guy right here, Vic Manuel, has been one of those, Heatwaves that have really taken the ball in his hands and produced real well for them. But you have to have other guys like Ralph Robin, Ian Melencio, Hesid Gabo, even Mike Mabulak and JP Maguliano. It's got to be collective on the side of the Heatwaves if they want to come back and steal a game 1.
Ildefonso stepping back for 3. It will clank off the rim. Melencio secures the rebound.
Wow.
Sent back to the friend zone by Raven Gonzalez.
Nakita mo sa ilalim si JP Maguliano, out of frustration. Talagang he had to just let it all out, because in that instance, it was a fast break opportunity for the Heatwaves, but they were outnumbered by the blue shirts on that end of the floor.
26 game of at least 1 block for Raven Gonzalez. Might be an early candidate for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, and he's a guy that's almost averaging parang 2 blocks per game, and that to me is, just an indication of how much a good defensive player itong si Raven Gonzalez. In the last 2 games against the Caloocan, he had 2 and 3 blocks, total of 5 in all of those series games against Caloocan.
3 out of 4 from the line itong Pangasinan. 47-24. Pero malayo pa ito Just past the halfway point of the 3rd.
Yeah, malayo pa ito, but the other part of the spectrum is you are going up against the Abra Weavers, and so you gotta do things very methodically. You gotta be very efficient. Maybe you have lesser field goal attempts, but you gotta make them a lot of those shot attempts.
Taiwan gives it up to John Oduba. Serrano. Taiwan on the right corner against Ian Melencio. 7 seconds left on their shot clock.
Nice spin down.
Encho forcing his way inside, turns it over.
I thought Encho already had a shot.
Some signs of life para sa Pangasinan. Vic Manuel tried to bounce it off, but Encho Serrano able to intercept the pass. Melencio has made quite an impact here, deflecting a lot of those passes by Pangasinan. Vic Manuel lines it up. Left corner pocket 3 is good.
And I love that you pointed that out, Ken, because definitely Ian Melencio coming off the bench, being a guy that provides that energy, playing both ends of the floor and making things possible for the Heatwaves. This time, that quick release after that steal the other end by Ian Melencio allowed Ralph Robin to find Vic Manuel, but this time around it was Vic going on his own, trying to create, chase for that space, and that little scoop shot ahead of that shot-blocking arm of Raven Gonzalez.
Cuts it down to 20, 47-27. Vic Manuel struggled in game 1 and 2 in that series against San Juan, and then in this do-or-die matchup really took charge, Coach Mike. 21 points on a very efficient shooting from the field para dito kay the Muscle Man. But here, meron na siyang actually 8 points na, kasama pa 3 rebound. 5 of those points coming here in the 3rd period.
Just spot on yun. As a matter of fact, in all the 6 playoff games na nilaro nito ni Vic Manuel, it was only in game 1 and game 2 of that San Juan series na talagang hirap na hirap umiscore itong si Vic Manuel. and only because he got checked well by the other bigs of the San Juan Knights. And again, another weak side guy moving to an open spot and really just making a shot at him.
Manuel puts it on the floor, forcing it up against Ryan Batino. And Batino with the rebound, gives it to Serrano. Floater, no good. Agawan sa bola. Deflected, and last touch by the Weavers.
Your top 3 scorers for the Heatwaves so far. See this action right here, and that's what you call a short action. When you release that ball of that 2-man game, allow the third man to get involved, and then release it to the roller instead of passing it directly to the roller. And that short action is very good, especially if you're a good guard that makes good decisions, and a roller that's very active, especially for the bigs.
Umawa yung tira doon ni Ralph Robin. And on the ensuing play, si Maguliano at si John Oduba ay nagkakiskisan doon sa ilalim. Oh, it's Oduba. Is he the one called for a foul? They will clarify.
Yeah, they have to clarify that.
Double foul. JP whistle for his third foul. Dalawang foul naman laban kay John Oduba. Bola ng Abra. Dalawang puntos pa rin ang kanilang labang. Maguliano.
I felt Coach Jerson's going to challenge this.
Yeah, he will.
It happened right in front of us. And based from what I saw, I felt it was a good inside hand to the ball steal by JP Maguliano. He didn't use his outer hand, he used his inside hand. And really, for the most part, you know, those are successful challenges. We'll figure it out.
Kung sakasakali, pang-apat na foul na yan kay JP Maguliano. We'll be back for the result of this challenge by Coach Gerson. So apparently, wala palang challenge, no? Okay. So free throws para kay John Oduba. 4 na yan, laban kay JP Maguliano.
Well, I thought Coach Gerson was signaling a challenge earlier.
Ano nangyari doon? Kasi successful naman siya sa unang challenge niya, no?
Well, that's right. And, you know, if you want to save that foul of JP Maguliano, itutuloy mo talaga yun.
Penalty na naman ng Pangasinan. Tapos 22 puntos pa ang lamang ng Abra dito. 51-29 under 3 minutes remaining in the third. Ralph Robin makes his move. Way off target. Ian Melencio. Wala. Robin. Third serving. These two guys trying to will their team back.
Well, I've seen that set from the Heatwaves, where they release that ball and allow that ball handler to give what's called a rip screen for the big, and then free him up on a pin down. Overall, that action is called a Finland. But that time around, it was Ralph Robin who was free, and so they never got to that pin down for Ian Melencio. Instead, allowed Ralph Robin to be the point of attack.
It's been the bench though who's provided some life.
Yes.
Para dito sa Pangasinan.
At saka halos lahat ng puntos na pinanggagalingan ng Pangasinan puro galing sa loob ng paint except for that 3 earlier by Brickman. Another 3 on its way.
Robin miss. Foul against Abra again.
Boy. You just have to admire the effort of one of the smallest Heatwaves on the floor, Ian Melencio. He's just staying active. Alam mo yung feeling mo yung player na hindi na tumitingin sa score, nilalaro na lang yung bawat possession. Yun ang nakikita mo dito kay Ian Melencio.
Tutusin ang late ng lineup nila dito.
Agree.
Ralph Robin, Ian Melencio, Di Gregorio is playing as a small forward. And now, Abra is in penalty. 2 free throws coming up for Mike DG.
Well, this 5 of the Weavers, somehow, I feel hindi pa nagkaroon ng mahabang playing time together on the floor. Itong kombinasyon na to. Kaya ngayon, nagkakaroon sila ng konting adjustments and understanding, you know, who covers who and what the action is gonna be. And now we're gonna recover defensively. And with the effort being put in by the Heatwaves, you know, kahit pa paano, nagiging maganda ang resulta para dito sa Heatwaves. Kahit na right now, they're getting outscored by just by 3 points in this quarter. It's 14-17. 14 ang Pangasinan, 17 itong Abra.
15 bench points here in the third quarter for Pangasinan. They cut the lead to 19. 5.5 rebounds, 2 assists for Mike Di Gregorio. As they apply some pressure in the backcourt, CJ Austria activated here for Abra. Guarded by Mike Di Gregorio. CJ, kick out pass, Mendoza behind the back. Whips it to Marwin Taiwan. 5 seconds left on their shot clock. Mendoza, Austria, stripped. Di Gregorio off to the races. Chased by John Oduba, but Di Gregorio able to lay it in.
Now this is more Heatwaves basketball right now. Everything predicated on the defensive end of the floor, hinged on a lot of energy and a lot of effort to try and recover and get that ball.
Fast break of the game is brought to you by Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme Magpalamig free installation for split-type air conditioners.
And this 5 has worked wonders for the Heatwaves so far in the third.
Lead down to 17 points. Timeout, Coach Yo. Fan of the game is brought to you by LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. Happy to have you with us here on a Wednesday evening dito po sa Governor Andres B. Bernos Memorial Gymnasium in Benguet, Abra. 3,200 in attendance. Marami pang tao po sa labas witnessing this game number 1 between Pangasinan and Abra.
Ano nga yung sabi nila? Umaapaw ang suporta nitong mga Abra Weavers. And we had the same when we had that game number 3 in Batangas. Really, everybody right now, if you're a basketball fan, are looking out for the playoff games in the MPBL.
But some little bit of trouble here for Abra. Their lead chopped down to 17 points. Almost a steal again. Austria crossing the timeline. Layup, no good. Maguliano, nagmamadali para dito sa Pangasinan.
Ooh, that's a violation.
Probably better off giving it up. So, yun. Agad naman humingi ng tawad dito kay Di Gregorio at kay Ralph Robin. But, nakikita natin, no? Something working.
Yes.
At least here late in the quarter para dito sa Heatwaves.
Oh, yun lang inaabangan ni Coach Jerson para dito sa team niya. Okay, fine guys, lalabangan tayo pero you know, balik natin yung energy, balik natin yung depensa natin. And right now, you bring it back itong si David Defonso. We'll see how these Heatwaves adjust.
Patino, as he tried to spin, lost the basketball.
And again, Ken, that's another good ploy, allowing a big man to put the ball on the floor and create off of it.
Mini goals na ito para sa Pangasinan.
Agree.
If they could manage to cut it down to 9, pwede pa ito.
Yes.
As Vic Manuel with a flip shot. 15 points, the lead by the Weavers. They led by as many as 28 points. Backdoor, Ildefonso met by Manuel. Now it's Di Gregorio checking him. Fadeaway jumper by Dave, off the mark. Melencio the rebound. Pangasinan doing a good job holding Abra to 1 shot. Skip pass to Vic Manuel.
Oh, that's a shot.
Three-pointer. Hiluwa. 38 seconds to go here in the period. Ildefonso. Taiwan high, arcing free. Still no go. Maguliano. Susugo. JP, little bit out of control there.
That's twice already we've seen JP be the primary ball handler of transition action for the Heatwaves, but on both occasions he was actually looking on the floor instead of looking for shooters on the outside, running the wings. That time he had Mike De Gregorio on the right side, never saw him. That ball never got to him.
Gio Chu. Ildefonso to beat the buzzer. Left it short. Third quarter comes to an end. Dave Ildefonso, only 1 out of 10 from the field. JP Maguliano providing that spark in the third. Highlights of the game brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
First 5 possessions, actually, ang ganda ng mga setup para dito sa Weavers. Pero ang ganda middle of the third where these guys, Vic Manuel, Ian Melencio, Mike De Gregorio, and those guys on the floor for the Heatwaves have brought up the energy defensively and able to counter with steals of their own, turnovers, and converting them into their points. And this is now a plus 13-point quarter compared to how they did in the second.
Entering the fourth, Abra still holding a 15-point lead over Pangasinan. You see how these two teams stack up in terms of numbers, Coach Mike?
Yeah, and if you look at the first 3, it's scoring, defending, and rebounding. Those 3, I feel, have been a clear advantage for the Weavers. But the good thing for Coach Jersons right now, ang ganda ng recovery in the third quarter nitong Heatwaves, and you want to build on that. Continue with that energy, getting in the passing lanes, staying to your man, recovering if you get beat, and just making the most of possibilities of getting into fast breaks. And that is one play. As you see them set up Vic Manuel, they normally would do that start of the quarter. Where they set up a cross screen for Vic Manuel for him to dominate on that side of the floor, because he's pretty much been unstoppable every time he's on that side and that close to the rim.
Silang 5 pa rin ang magkakasama sa loob, no? As you see the quarter scoring. First quarter, 11-10, 24-6 in the second, and then here the third. Outscoring Abra by 1 are the Heatwaves, and then Vic Manuel scoring from the baseline at may foul pang kasama, bonus free throw coming up.
And yung sa pagkakataon na yun, if you're gonna tie that up to the stat that was presented earlier, the reason that humahabol itong Pangasinan Heatwaves kasi hindi na naging ganun kaganda ang naging scoring para dito sa Heatwaves in the third quarter. You'd like to think that they would, continue to pound and pounce on the defense of the Heatwaves, but once those other guys came in for the Weavers, nagbago yung energy, tumaas naman yung kumpiyansa nitong Heatwaves, kaya kahit paano maganda ang scoring para sa Pangasinan.
Ildefonso, Brickman, Batino, Gio Chu, and Mike Ayonayon on the floor for the Weavers. Patino, jumper, good.
And every time you've got a guy down on the low block in Dave Ildefonso, that commands a lot of attention.
Isang magandang ginawa ng Pangasinan here in the second half, Coach Mike, is they only had 6 assists in the first half. In the third quarter, they had 8. And yung unit na ito, ang gumagana so far para kay Coach Gerson Cabildes.
Yes, tsaka maganda na nagsisimula sa depensa. Ito na yung post-up na sinasabi natin. Match-up, help on that side of the floor, left Batino on that elbow, and just an easy pass for Dave Ildefonso. It's easy for Dave because one, there's a smaller guy in Mike De Gregorio defending him on the post. Two, Patino's defender came in to help, and that was just a quick release for Dave to the open hands of Patino.
Ralph Robin inside, Maguliano getting it over Gio Chu.
And with the Heatwaves connecting in assists and making those shot attempts, it shows you, man, the camaraderie is back, and we know we're in a good spot despite being down by 12.
De Gregorio again coming away with a steal. Just putting the clamps on DI. Melencio one-on-one against Dave. Melencio draws a foul against Ildefonso.
And that's just his own version of being a veteran, itong si Ian Melencio. We saw that defense earlier. Ito yung drive kanina ni Ralph Robin, to which he found JP Maguliano on that side of the floor. Really good action between those two. And samantalang, ito, nakita nga natin si Ian Melencio, sinubukang exploit yung little bit of a mismatch because it was outside of the shaded area. Kahit papano, speed-wise, may advantage siya a little bit against Dave.
Yung depensa ni Mike De Gregorio, Coach Mike. Remember, Ildefonso has yet to have a game where he ended up single figures in scoring. Lahat at least 10 points.
Tama.
Right now, he only has 5 points on 1 of 11 shooting from the field.
Hindi, tsaka ang ganda nung pinoint out mo, Ken, na yung assist talagang nag-ramp up in the third quarter para dito sa Heatwaves at nagsisimula sa depensa.
Baba na rin sa 10 ang lamang. Pull-up jumper by Ayon. No. Gio Chu cleans it up. Nobody putting a body on him on that rebounding battle.
That one's called an MBO, or a missed box out by the Heatwaves. Nobody checking on Gio Chu. Man that big, you gotta check on him.
Manuel Mintes. Mike Ayon comes away with a rebound. The pass, Ildefonso in traffic lays it in.
And Vic Manuel is asking for a sub. The guy is gassed. They have not allowed the straight line drive every time itong Heatwaves, pero that time, you know, just the pass to the weak side on that cut on that other side of the floor for Dave Ildefonso.
Kixer, great move of the game, born for greatness.
You see how you have 3 white shirts against Ayon with the ball, and totally everybody forgetting about Dave on that weak side dive.
Timeout Pangasinan as Abra extends their lead back to 14. Last meeting nila, Coach Mike, was 5 months ago. Dito rin sa Bangged Abra. We covered that game. Abra beating Pangasinan 75-68.
And this is totally a different Heatwaves team that the Abra Weavers are going up against. But I guess you could also say the same for the Weavers, because that was a game na wala pang Jason Brickman doon, if I recall correctly. And you had CJ Austria, who was checking on Vic Manuel, which eventually he became the best player of that game. And Ralph Robin, he's been just really good in his own little contribution so far for Coach Jerson and the Heatwaves.
Pinabuelo nila si Mike Ayon. Brickman, Mintes, Gio Chu, another offensive rebound, and put back.
I was gonna say that is again an open 3 attempt for the best 3-point shooting guard so far in the playoffs for the Weavers and Jason Brickman. Medyo na-late yung depensa na yun ni Hesed, pero for the Weavers, thankfully, offensive rebound and put back by Gio Chu.
Saka naiwan din si JP Maguliano. He gambled on the steal. He makes up for it with a floater of his own.
Ganda rin ang counter na ito. Kung gagamitin mo na screen and screen guy itong si JP Maguliano, naka-drop coverage yung kanyang mabantay. In that instance, happens to be Gio Chu. It's a floater. Any which way you put it, that would be available for JP.
Gio Chu again. Count it, plus a foul. 6 points. All coming in this quarter for Gio Chu.
And once again, who's had that ball on his hands to make that decision? You got Jason Brickman. And that time, really just left it over, tried to find that read, trying to go for a little short action again, involving that third man in Jeo Chu, probably to hit itong si Batino who was the primary roller, pero no need, kaya nang tapusin ni Jeo Chu.
His parents are here, Jeo Chu. Meanwhile, let's go to Mika.
I talked to the young bigs of Abra, no? Jeo Chu and Raven Gonzalez talked about despite being young, they know the front line of Pangasinan will be challenging. They probably have the age and experience of Manuel Napoles Collado. Sabi nila si Vic, nakita naman natin, no? Still makes a lot of composed shots. He's very patient. Jay also talked about how Ryan Batino and Mark Yee have been supportive in terms of teaching him the real MPBL game. He said, I am very lucky. Our experienced bigs are not intimidating. I am learning a lot. Ken, Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. And it has showed here, Jeo Chu. He's like a sponge, Coach Mike, no? Na alam niya, ang dami pang kailangan ma-figure out in terms of him being a dominant big man here. And he could learn a thing or two from this guy, Ryan Batino, who gets the offensive rebound and puts it back in. Mark Yee as well, a former champion at the expense of Coach Gerson when he was with Basilan. Then went on and beat San Juan. Vic Manuel puts in the free from the right corner.
Well, and Vic Manuel continues to find the range from the outside. He pretty much has made threes that, you know, settled down his voice and stopped a little bit yung rhythm para dito sa Weavers. But now on their end, you gotta get another stop if you're the Weavers.
Bounce pass. Deflected. Ball will stay with Abra. 5:20 left in the fourth.
And to that report about Jeo Chu, I do love as we see this feed on that corner again. It was a long run for Batino only because they were drop coveraging against Vic Manuel. Eh pag binabantayan mo sa Vic, mamimili ka talaga. Drop coverage ba o i-attach mo yung sarili mo sa kanya.
Batino sa loob. Bola na tapik palabas ni Ian Melencio. 3.3 seconds left sa shot clock ng Abra.
Kung wala yung sipag at energy ni Ian Melencio, hindi mangyayari yung tapik na yun. But only because he saw that ball was coming in on my side, he had to dig in.
Jeo Chu flips it up. The tip from David Devonso, who now has 9. 66-50. Manuel, shot fake.
Favorite move.
Gets that one to trickle in.
Well, that's one of the patented moves of Vic Manuel, leaving that ball on the left side of the floor and then spinning right for that straight up floater. And it's been tough to stop that.
Di Gregorio just all over Dave. Brickman against Ian Melencio. Jason Brickman drives, kicks it out. Three-pointer, good from Mike Ayonayon.
And that time, they used a lot of clock and they did very well offensively, itong Weavers. They were very patient. Everybody knew where everybody was and everybody understood and comprehended where that point of attack is going to be for the Weavers.
Mike Ayonayon coming away with a rejection, doing it on both sides of the floor.
Well, this really started with that drive by Jason Brickman. You know, baseline drive, baseline drift, very basic. But then again, even before that action, makikita mo talaga yung galawan ni Jason Brickman that has allowed these other guys to, you know, get a little bit of a spotlight. Sabi mo nga kanina, hindi masyado nakakapag-contribute early in the game si David Defonso, but because Jason Brickman did his thing, you know, we are where we are right now.
Catch and shoot, wala. Maguliano, mintis pa din. Nasa ilalim, Ian Melencio.
Oh, ba?
Got fouled.
It's going to be a wonder if at this point of the game, in game number 1 of the North Division Finals, where we've been talking about Giants, that you leave out the conversation about this little guy right here on the floor in Ian Melencio. Ian Melencio has played his heart out for the Heatwaves.
Ang free throw na ito, it's atin Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
He's not getting shot blocks. He's not getting anything fancy. He's just playing defense. And when he gets that ball, he understands I'm going to have runners the other end. And if we don't have anything, I'll try to figure out a way to score by myself.
6 points, but 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. from Ian Melencio. Under 4 minutes left, still a 15-point cushion by Abra. Ayon.
Oh, man.
Nice pass. Batino able to slide in and score.
The space, the man, and the ball movement have been on point for the Weavers. At least for the 3 last possessions that we've seen, including this one, they've done everything in different ways.
Gonzalez swats that ball away. Second rejection by Raven Gonzalez.
Alam mo, dalawang bagay makikita mo doon, Ken. One, alam ni Ian Melencio na mas matangkad yun. As we see this little pin down action, ending up with that drive. And then that look for that roller in Batino. And Batino, just enough English to finish. Mahirap yung tira na yun para sa big man. Halos guardia lang ang tumitira ng ganun.
Erwin Flores replacing Vic Manuel, and then Simon Camacho tinaltan din. Itong si Ryan Batino. Maguliano, supalpal, inabot kay Raven Gonzalez. Third block in total for Raven Gonzalez. Approaching the 3-minute mark of the fourth. Turnaround jumper, Ildefonso, no good. Camacho with offensive board. Abra will reset their offense. Under 3 minutes left. Mike. Flip shot is good from Simon Camacho.
A lot of very, very fundamentally sound action by the Weavers. That time around, every time you've got a dribbler and a ball handler that drives on that baseline and he gets under the goal, you want a teammate to be right in front of the rim because that guy, for the most part, is not going to be seen, is not going to be defended, and so it's an easy pass. See this right here. Use that pick by Camacho and then bringing it back all the way to him after he went underneath that rim and Camacho was right in front.
Coach's challenge requested by Coach Yong Garcia on that last out-of-bounds play. We'll be back for the result of this one.
Upon review, the challenge was successful.
Successful challenge by Coach Yong. It went off Ralph Robin after Camacho poked it free. Ayun, no?
Yeah. Well, it was a hard show on Simon Camacho. I feel he was really intending to just show and then recover to the defense. His primary man being JP Maguliano.
Lowest output by Pangasinan, 66 points this season. Ralph Robin scores. They now have 56, but time definitely not on their side as Abra still ahead by 17.
Well, if there's one thing that Coach Gerson definitely is gonna talk about as they plan for game number 2, still here in Abra, is that, hey guys, we played a good second half. If we did that in the first, this would be a closer game than as it was in the halftime.
Isang kapansin-pansin dito, Coach Mike, halos di na ginamit ni Coach Gerson. Sila Alin Bulanadi, Joey Napoles. As Taiwan lays it in.
Well, even Hesed Gabo didn't get so many minutes relative to one. The importance of this game for Pangasinan, and only because guys like Mike, Ian, and as well as Ralph have done a stellar job of keeping in pace against the Weavers.
Ildefonso continues his streak of scoring at least 10 points. 11 markers, but only 4 out of 16 shooting from the field. But Other guys definitely have picked up the slack for the Weavers. Fast break of the game is brought to you by Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme Magpalamig free insulation for split-type air conditioners.
At kahit na hindi ganun kaganda, yung nga na na-mention mo kanina, yung field goal percentage para dito kay Dave Ildefonso, to which overall in the past, the previous 4 games that he's played in the playoffs, he's averaging roughly about 32% shooting from the field. Well, if he's not hurting you in scoring, he's doing it in other stuff. Like assists, he's got a total of 16 assists in those 4 games that he's played. And so, really, hindi pinupuwersa, ika nga. Kung hindi makashoot at wala yung shot, tutulong tayo sa ibang paraan ito kay Dave Ildefonso.
Coach Mike, in a game where arguably Abra wasn't at their best, what was the main difference here in enabling them to get this win here in game number 1?
Well, I feel the Abra Weavers, yung simula na yon, might be a one-off. Maaring yan, gigil lang na gusto makabalik agad and want to dominate very early. It's a good thing that Jason Brickman happened in the second quarter and really steadied the ship. Because imagine if Jason Brickman did not do that, then it would have been a much closer first half for the Heatwaves. And had Coach Jerson seen the kind of commitment and discipline of these 5 on the floor the Heatwaves have played here in the second half, then it would have been a different story in the first half.
They have been the best defensive team in these playoffs. Itong Abra Solid North Weavers. In terms of points they gave up, napakababa. Lalo dito, 57 pa lang itong Pangasinan.
And one other thing that I'm sure the Heatwaves are going to look at as they, in retrospect, review this game, what did they not do well, especially in the first half? Because this is the first time in the play-ins and in the playoffs that they actually trail a series.
But let's not forget, game number 2, they got blown out by San Juan. Trailed by as many as 36 points.
Yes.
But close it out in game number 3. Obviously, Abra, different team, also different situation. This is game number 1. And they're also gonna be playing in game number 2 here in Bangue. They will stay here. They will have to prepare for less than 48 hours.
Yes.
But make no mistake about it, the Abra Solid North Weavers gutting it out in a game where they were tested early, Coach Mike, but able to persevere and pull through.
Well, matter of fact, hindi lang itong Abra Weavers na nasubukan early in the game, even yung Pangasinan Heatwaves. Pero again, they steadied the ship in the second quarter and it was so much different, especially with this guy right here leading the way. And those looks, those scoring, that stability in the third quarter really just rubbed off on the other guys, flowed into the third quarter, and it was just cruise control aside from the, momentarily na resistance na binigay nitong Heatwaves against the Weavers.
Best player of the game is powered by 747 Live. Play what you love, win what you deserve. Final score, 77 for the Abra Solid North Weavers, 58 para naman sa Pangasinan Heatwaves. Abra now leads 1-0 in this best of 5 series against Pangasinan. Game number 2 just a couple of days away. Meanwhile, Mika is with Jason Brickman.
Maraming salamat. Happy birthday, Jason. But I'm sure this is an even better celebration winning this game. At the start, I saw you were feeling it a little bit, but in the second quarter, you just had 12 points with a total of 15. How are you?
Yeah, it feels great to get the win. I couldn't really focus on my birthday because of the game. I was really prepared for the game, wanted to get the win. So just happy we came out successful.
Right, but Pangasinan also gave you guys some good stuff at the start of the game. What do you think about them as a team?
Yeah, they have a really good team. They played physical, played good defense in the first quarter. So we just had to keep on playing, keep on fighting, try to make better decisions and get good shots. And we started to get in the flow in the second quarter.
So I guess this is just like a test of what's to come next in the next games of this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really competitive game. So we got to be prepared for game 2, not let up, and try to get game 2 as well.
I got that. Do you have any greetings?
I want to say hi to my wife and my family back home. Thank you guys for the birthday greetings.
Thank you so much, Jason Brickman. This best play of the game is powered by 747 Live. What you love, win what you love, play what you love, and win what you deserve. Ken, Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. Happy birthday to Jason Brickman as they go up 1-0 in this best of 5 series against Pangasinan.
Well, more importantly for Jason, he can go back to celebrating now and focus on his birthday. But really good game by the Abra Weavers, and all because of this guy right here, right in front of us. And they are up right now in this series, 1-0, and it's back to the drawing boards for Coach Jerson to try and recover back in game number 2.
And they will have to figure things out in less than 48 hours, Coach Mike. Talking about the Pangasinan Heatwaves on what went wrong here. Game number 2, still here in Bangued, Abra. Friday po yan, 6:30 p.m. Dito pa rin sa Governor Andres Bernos Memorial Gymnasium. Number 7 seed, Pangasinan trailing 1-0 in this best of 5 series against Abra. That does it for coverage. On behalf of Coach Mike Perez, Miss Mika Abisamis, and our entire crew, ako po si Ken Pangilinan. Maraming salamat sa pagtangkilik at pagsubaybay sa Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League Playoffs, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.